19 months after the start of John Durham's investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia scandal, the special prosecutor's first trial is now underway in Washington, D.C. On trial is Michael Sussmann, a lawyer accused of lying to the FBI about his connection to the Clinton campaign. Well, joining us to discuss the trial, Durham's investigation, and Russia-Ukraine connections is former federal prosecutor John O'Connor. John, it's so good to talk with you again. So in your opinion, how strong is Durham's case against Michael Sussmann?
Well, this may be one of his weaker cases, and there are two reasons. Number one, he's going to have a bad jury here. Many people in the pool actually worked for Hillary Clinton, manned phone banks, and gave donations in a city where 86% of the vote went to Hillary. So you have that problem, but underlying it is a fairly weak case in the sense that even though, yes, he made a false statement, it's clear he made false statements. And if the jury plays this straight, then great. There's an issue here as to materiality of the false statement. The statement is that he wasn't representing anyone. He was just telling the FBI about this false Alpha Bank server story out of the goodness of his heart as a concerned public citizen who wanted to, quote, help the Bureau, unquote. So the problem with it is the falsity is that he didn't tell people he was hooked up with the Clinton campaign or was there as a Clinton representative. But a lot of people in the FBI knew that's what he did. And that's one of the problems with it. And also,
they didn't believe the information, though, either. That was a testimony this week. They didn't believe the information he gave them anyway.
Right. And it didn't take a lot of time for them to do that. It took them about a day. One guy testified for him to realize that this information was worthless. I would, a hung jury or an acquittal would not surprise me. But remember this. This may make Durham look bad or the investigation look weak, but I will tell you this. There's going to be some humdinger bell ringers coming out this summer. I think this summer.
So what's next? Do you expect indictments against FBI officials, higher ups?
Oh, yeah. I expect 5 or 6 FBI agents are at least in the crosshairs here. They're targets. And then you have this whole group of people who were doing this false Alpha Bank story, and there's another false one too, the false Yodaphone, the Russian cell phone story. So there are 2 sets of people that you can charge them in one conspiracy or 2 separate ones. And on the technical side, there's a guy named David Dagan who is with Georgia Technological Institute, GTI, who I think is cooperating. So that's a big thing. I think the formerly indicted lawyer for the FBI, Kevin Kleinsmith, is cooperating. So Durham may have a couple aces up his sleeve. I think this prosecution that I think will get to the essence and the heart of what Clinton was doing. It was a massive campaign of disinformation using Putin's agents, by the way, in America.
Well, tell me, I understand that you believe the war in Ukraine is connected to all of this. Please summarize, share your thoughts on this.
Well, sure. Putin wanted Hillary to win. There's no doubt because of all the largesse she had bestowed on him, from the uranium sales to the dual-use technology she transferred to Russia to help Skolkovo, all this Russian reset stuff. Putin loved Hillary. She was doing everything that he wanted. Now, sometimes there are a few bucks attached, and that's what her motive was. So, yes. Now, he tried to get her elected. Everyone involved in the Steele dossier was a Russian agent, literally. So, Russiagate itself cost Trump the election and got Putin what he really wanted in 2016 was a compromisable American president in Hillary. Instead, he got a compromisable candidate in Biden in 2020. Now, note that it wasn't until 2020, after 2021, after Biden was elected, that Putin massed troops on the border of Ukraine. During the 4 years Trump was in, he didn't even mention a word about invading Ukraine. Under Obama's administration, under Hillary, he came in. And this is after Hillary had left, but he came into the Ukraine and grabbed Crimea. But he didn't do anything during Trump's deal. So the Russiagate scandal actually enabled Putin to invade Ukraine. There's no two ways about it. The evidence is overwhelming, and exactly what one thought would happen did happen. By the way, Biden's national security advisor is Jake Sullivan. Jake Sullivan was Hillary Clinton's main foreign policy advisor in the campaign, and it was Jake Sullivan who came up with the whole idea of the Russiagate hoax. He's the guy that spun that story. John Brennan reported on that from his Russian intelligence sources that Sullivan was the guy that masterminded this. So there's no doubt about it. Now this guy is our foreign policy advisor for Biden. And guess what Biden does? He just about sends Putin an engraved invitation to come in. So you can't make this up. And now here we watch this slaughter every day, and the mainstream media is not in any way either A, blaming Biden, or B, blaming the Russiagate scandal on this. And no one's thinking about the fact that Putin did not invade during Trump's administration.
Okay, from San Francisco, former federal prosecutor John O'Connor. Thank you, John. We appreciate you. Thanks for being with us, and go blue.
Go blue. Good talking to you.